Is it true that men and women are inherently unequal? Or is it a social construct being force-fed upon the world by a system of dominance and oppression favoring men? Are men better at some things, while women are better at other things? Or are there no differences at all? What would you say if I told you that the average man aged 18 to 35 has a grip strength higher than 99.9% of women of the same age? Would you say I'm lying? According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's annual National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey, which actually tested the grip strength of thousands of men and women, this is exactly what was found. The differences in grip strength between the sexes began to become apparent around the age of 13 years old, around the time most boys hit puberty and persisted past 80 years old. But so what? What benefits are there to having a higher grip strength? In combat sports like wrestling, having a better grip strength is particularly advantageous due to the nature of the sport, which heavily relies on grappling and controlling an opponent. A strong grip allows a wrestler to more effectively control an opponent's limbs, clothing, or body. This control is crucial for executing techniques and maintaining advantageous positions. Stronger grip strength enhances your ability to carry out everyday tasks like opening jars, carrying groceries, or using tools. Many sports, such as climbing, golf, tennis, and weightlifting, require a strong grip. Improved grip strength can significantly boost performance in these areas. Not convinced yet? Let's see what other significant differences exist between men and women. According to the CDC's annual national survey, the average adult male in the United States is approximately 5.5 inches taller than the average adult female. After puberty, the sex differences in height start to become apparent around 14 to 15 years old when males experience their first of several growth spurts. And by the age of 16 to 20, the average male has a standing height taller than 98% of females of the same age, with an average difference of 8%. For example's sake, 8% shorter than 6 feet tall would be 5'6". Does that mean that women can't be tall? Of course not. However, they are the exception rather than the rule. An average American male aged 16 to 20 has an upper arm length longer than 92% of females the same age, with an average difference of 8%, and an upper leg length longer than 93% of same-age females with an average difference of 11%. Longer arm lengths can provide advantages in reach for sports such as basketball and combat sports. They also provide an increase in leverage for activities such as weightlifting, rowing, and climbing. Longer leg lengths can contribute to a more efficient stride in running. This can be particularly advantageous in sports like track and field where stride length and efficiency play a crucial role in performance. It therefore should come as no surprise that we see significant sex differences in world records for sprinting. The difference between the current men's and women's world record is 0.91 seconds, or 8.7%. To put this into perspective, the difference between first and last place at the 2020 Tokyo Olympics for men was 0.2 seconds. All men finalists had faster times than the women's current world record. Similarly, for the 200-meter dash, there is a 10.1% difference between the men and women's world records. We also see similar but even more pronounced differences in sports like high jump, where a combination of agility, speed, and power, in addition to good technique, are all important components for success. The men's world record is approximately 17% higher than the women's world record in terms of vertical height achieved. Another significant difference between men and women is the average amount of lean body mass. Lean body mass includes muscle, organs, and bone. Take, for example, an average man aged 18 to 25 years old. He would have a higher lean body mass than 91.4% of women the same age, with an average difference of 34%. But you might be thinking, if men are taller and have longer limbs, then of course they would have more lean body mass. However, when we equate for size differences by using lean mass density, that is ounces per square inch, we still find significant differences. The average man aged 18 to 25 years old still has a higher lean mass density than 88.9% of women the same age, but the average difference is 17.2% instead of 34%. Meaning, even if we put men and women in the same weight class, men would still have a significant advantage over women due to having a higher percentage of lean body mass compared to body fat. It is not at all surprising then, even in older men aged 50 to 85 years old. The average man in that age range has a higher average peak force for all lifts than 78.3% of women in the same age range, with an average difference of 40% peak force generated. Peak force in biomechanics is the most force that is exerted during a movement of the body. These differences in muscle mass, in addition to larger organs such as the heart and lungs, result in a higher VO2 max in men. VO2 max, also known as maximal oxygen uptake, is the measurement of the maximum amount of oxygen an individual can utilize during intense exercise. It is a key indicator of aerobic endurance and overall cardiovascular fitness. The average man aged 18 to 25 has a VO2 max higher than 84% of females the same age, with an average difference of 24%. Some people have hypothesized that these advantages are solely due to differences in testosterone, which, by the way, the average male has a total testosterone level higher than 100% of females, with an average difference of 1,370%. It is likely that testosterone plays a major role in the observed sex differences. And because of this, in 2015, the International Olympic Committee adopted a policy whereby trans women were required to have reduced testosterone levels within the normal female range for 12 months prior to competing. However, this policy was overturned in 2021, citing a new framework which stated that every athlete has the right to practice sport without discrimination and in a way that respects their health, safety, and dignity, leaving it up to individual sports to tailor their gender eligibility policies in more equitable ways. This shift in policy came as a surprise to many, especially since it was only a year after a paper published by Emma Hilton and Tommy Lundberg concluded that prior to transitioning, the performance gap between men and women depending on the sport is 10 to 50%, and after 12 months of treatment, the loss of lean body mass, muscle area, and strength in trans women only amounts to approximately 5%. They concluded that the muscular advantage enjoyed by transgender women is only minimally reduced when testosterone is suppressed. Suppressing testosterone for 12 months is not enough to overcome the advantage provided by an entire adolescence of male puberty. Here are some examples of other world records which highlight the strength differences in men compared to women at the elite level of sports. When comparing the world records for the hammer throw, the men's record is 11.5% further than the women's record despite using a hammer that is half the weight. And when comparing the world records for the javelin throw, the men's record is a whopping 36.2% further than the women's record, which uses a javelin that is 75% of the weight used by the men. Finally, when comparing the 55-kilogram weight class, the men's world record for combined weight lifted in the clean and jerk plus the snatch is 294 kilograms, whereas the women's world record is 233 kilograms. This is a difference of 26% more weight lifted by men when both sexes are competing in the same weight class. In conclusion, there are significant differences between men and women when it comes to physical ability in competitive sports. These differences begin to become apparent during early adolescence and persist throughout adulthood. While there are most certainly women who are outliers that can compete with men, the average man will have a significant athletic advantage in terms of skeletal structure, muscle mass, and organ size, which is likely to result in favorable strength, speed, agility, and endurance.